poem about sex. This is about intimacy. About the way you see me in that India-Ari, brown-skin type of way. About the way you see me when I am covered in clothes, from my neck to my toes, when it is my soul and not my body that is exposed. No, you see me. So this is no longer about sex. This is about intimacy. Intimacy, noun. The state of being intimate. Intimate, adjective, associated in close personal relations. Very private, closely personal. Private. Personal. Like the way I tell you my secrets in the dim of night, and only our shadows bear witness to the confessionals. Private. Personal. When just the rhythm of our conversations becomes sensual. Private. Personal. Like the scars I have entrusted you with, the stories and the pain. Private. Personal. The way you know me inside and out. From my curves to my veins, from my heart to my brain, the way you see my silhouette not just as a means to entertain, not just a channel for your own physical gain. No, you see me. So this is no longer about sex. This is about intimacy. See, the world is full of one-note sentences. Yo, I just need to get laid. Because you and me, baby, we ain't nothing but mammals, but you and me, baby, we are people, souls, webs of emotion. We are so much more than just mammals. See, sex, that's animalistic, but intimacy, that is artistic, and I have always been a sucker for artists. Maybe I'm just a stickler for linguistics, but sex just seems so simplistic. An act that makes you another statistic, but intimacy that will carve your name in history books. It is rare, coveted. See, sex is one act, but intimacy, you have to succumb to it, so this is no longer about sex. This is about intimacy. See, my life has been a series of pseudo-connections, mistaking broad body superimposed on me as something exceptional. Forgetting that we are mere animals, so those cravings for each other, they are usually just chemical, but I let that oxytocin run through my pores. Let that oxytocin allow me to adore the same men who only knew how to ignore the questions I wanted answers for. Let that oxytocin put me in a state of war because I craved intimacy and sex was only supposed to be the underscore, so it left me with a heart that I had to mend. My feelings hung on dead air and left to suspend, my fingers bleeding from holding on to emotional ropes until the bitter end, my mind tangled from all the mixed signals I thought they were trying to send. Didn't want any of the benefits if we could only be friends. Forgot Lauren's words, don't be a hard rock when you really are a gem. See, this is no longer about sex. This is about intimacy. Intimacy, mind, body, and soul. Someone passing through every part of your being and not just one covert whole. No. Intimacy is about who you are as a whole. Mind, body, and soul. A triad that not many people can penetrate. Being intimate is not a verb many people know how to conjugate, so instead they just circumnavigate. The effort it takes to know a person's entire emotional real estate. Sex is so much easier. A one-act plan and the curtains close, but intimacy started long before you even took off your clothes. You had to write that script from beginning to end. I've learned you can fake it during sex, but intimacy is not something you can pretend. You have to build that shit from the ground up. A masterpiece crafted by your own hands. See, sex is a franchise, but intimacy, that is your own brand, and I have always been a sucker for entrepreneurs. This is no longer about sex. This is about intimacy because the gap between sex and intimacy is vast. It's the difference between a vodka tonic and a glass of Pinot Noir, between a text message and a love letter, between lingerie and a t-shirt and some panties, the difference between Trey Songz and Maxwell, between fucking and letting two bodies speak language. It's the difference between what are you doing tonight and I miss you, between I want you and I love you, between you're sexy and you're beautiful. It's the difference between, yo,